Beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's a nice day for a stroll in the park. How about the park at 20th and Blake? Rockies will conclude this homestand and thus this four-game series against Miami today. The Rockies 4-2 on the homestand, 1-2 against the Marlins. Hi, everybody, and glad you're along, as always. With George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman. Sundays, for whatever reason, have not treated the Rockies well the last couple of years. Amazingly, the Rockies won only one home game this year at Coors Field on a Sunday. They'll try to turn that around this afternoon. We begin today talking about pitching. Drew Pomeranz returns to the mound for the Rockies. He drew a tough ball in Josh Johnson.
Yeah, you know, you always say you're pitching against the opposition and yourself. You're not pitching against the Johnson, but you are pitching against Johnson. This guy's pretty good. Big Horse has had the lowest run support since the All-Star break. The record at 7-9, a little deceiving, but it has been an up-and-down year for him. But of late, he has been back to the Josh Johnson everybody's seen in the past. A wipeout slider, fastball's been really good, and takes a loss against the Phillies. 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts for the big right-hander, and he'll be on the hill against the Rockies today. Expect fastballs early, expect wipeout sliders late. And for Pomeranz, Drew, I think he needs to go put his foot down. And I think he needs to go out and really pound the strike zone and show the confidence they want to see from him.
Yeah, the final 6 weeks of the season, they need him to repeat the good that we've seen in the past, but it's been largely inconsistent this year. So it's Pomeranz and Johnson, and when we return, we'll talk about Tyler Colvin. He was impactful again offensively last night. The Rockies gathered in the dugout, getting ready to go against the Marlins on a picture-perfect Sunday. And once again, good day with George Frazier.
I like this tie, by the way.
I'm Drew Goodman.
Move your microphone out of the way. I kind of like that. All right, go ahead.
I like it. That's why I bought it. How about that? Tyler Colvin's going to get a lot of time coming up over the next 6 weeks because Michael Kadire re-injured that oblique, and the Rockies had to put him back on the disabled list. Andrew Brown, by the way, was brought back to the big leagues. We saw him a couple of weeks ago. And here's the injury again. It was on this swing, evidently. And Michael was placed, as I said, back on the disabled list. And, you know, you're going to be real careful with that injury, so we don't know how long he'll be out, which means Tyler Colvin, whether it be first base or an outfield spot, George, is going to play every day.
Well, he's hit 342 with runners in scoring position. I think what he's done is has a change of scenery. Obviously has done him tremendously well. 3 for 5 last night, 3 RBIs, came up huge late in the ball game to drive in 2 to make it a 1-run ball game. Again, this is a guy getting an opportunity but not getting overexposed by a manager. In other words, he's not getting up against the tough left-on-left matchups, but he's taking advantage when he's had to face the tough right-handers, and he's come through in a big way. I mean, this is one of those nice surprises this year in the Rocky organization.
Well, I've said this many times. The pitching issues have obscured a lot of good things that have happened with the Colorado Rockies, and one of those, as you suggest, the play of Tyler Colvin. He'll be on full display this afternoon, as will all of the Rockies that are healthy. The Rockies and the Marlins. Come on back to Coors Field with us. Neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota moving forward by CenturyLink. Fast speed and a low monthly price. Visit CenturyLink.com. By Crossbrewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Frazier making his way to the ballpark was a little tardy today. Had to speed up the pedaling on the bicycle.
I was looking for all the downhill. I kept getting the uphill.
Yeah, I know. Drew Pomerantz walking to the mound, picking up the rock and getting ready to go as the Rockies will conclude this homestand, looking for a W against Emilio Bonifacio and the Marlins. You say, wait a second, Emilio Bonifacio, you guys haven't mentioned his name the last few days. The reason is he's just coming off the disabled list, and he is a catalyst at the top of that Marlins lineup because he can flat out fly. A couple of roster moves today, in fact, for the Marlins. Bonifacio's back. Donnie Murphy, versatile infielder's back. He's in the starting lineup today. Scott Cousins back to New Orleans, and Gil Velasquez was designated for assignment. Here's the Southwest batting order for Ozzie this afternoon. Ian will have Ruggiano, Justin Ruggiano, hitting behind Bonifacio. A nice story. This kid's got pop. He can run. He's a 30-year-old who's finally been given an opportunity. Then Reyes, Lee, and Stanton, 3, 4, 5. There's Donnie Murphy. John Buck back behind the plate. Donovan Solano will play second and bat 8th in front of the big Okie, Josh Johnson. Drew Pomerantz on the hill. And looking, George, to do what he did against Washington.
Well, he wants to right the ship. Prior to the break, 1-3, 3.06 earned run average. Since then, 0-4, 7.82 earned run average. The opposition's average has jumped 100 points to 330.
So he wants to go back to where he was prior to the break, throwing a dominant fastball, which he does 80% of the time, a very good spike curveball, and a changeup, and it shows that slider/cutter at times. Left-handers have just hit 130 against him. Right-handers have hit 330. The one thing he does do is he really commands the top of the lineup. They are hitting just a $188 out of the one hole.
A sign that's universal in baseball. Send it to second base to the catcher. So we'll check the defense while Hernandez throws it down. Ewaz in left, Fowler in center. Charlie Blackmon starting. He's in right field. Pacheco, Rutledge, Herrera, and Colvin in the infield. And there's the veteran Ramon Hernandez behind the plate. Not a cloud to be seen for miles and miles, just as you like it. Game time temperature a tick or two below 80 degrees. Marlins will be heading to Phoenix from here. They'll have a 4-game set against Arizona. The Rockies are off to the Big Apple. They'll take on the Mets for 4 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night, and Thursday afternoon, and that's on to the Windy City. See the Cubbies. So here we go. First pitch of the ball game outside. Ball 1. We've seen Pomerantz, George, early in ball games throw 10, 12, 14, 15 straight heaters.
And he has very good command when he has the movement on top of the baseball, working down in the zone. Makes all the difference in the world.
And he misses on his first 2 offerings, and it's 2-0. And a tough Bonifacio.
Tough guy at the plate too with Bonifacio, because he doesn't have a high average, 261, but he's a guy that will work counts as a leadoff man. Drew mentioned catalyst, 30 stolen bases.
George, he's got 30 bags. There's a strike in 61 ball games. So you do the math. I mean, you start extrapolating that out. If he were to play a full season or close to it, you're talking about 75, 80 bags.
Yeah, a big part of their top of their lineup, setting the table for everybody else.
And this is slowly hit to short. Rutledge will come and get it. Nice job. And no, safe call. Rockies are throwing it around the infield, but you got a late safe call from Larry Vanover. Here comes Jim Tracy. Colvin thought he stayed on the bag, and the call came really late. I mean, the Rockies were throwing it around the infield.
Well, he's asking for the explanation right now. Josh Rutledge, a little bit of a high throw and a wide throw, but he's still on the bag, well on the bag. Just watch the left foot of Tyler Colvin. Does it stay in contact with the bag? Sure does, right on the corner. You see that on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo too. He is there, and then Bonifacio had ducked to keep from getting hit.
So that'll be the 8th error on Josh Rutledge.
Yeah, Jim Tracy showing some frustration in the dugout. One of the few times you see him, he just slammed the railing like, man, that's an easy call for you. Were you in position to see the foot on the back?
Strike 1 on Justin Ruggiano. And Pomerantz, George, for a lefty in particular, has struggled to hold runners, and now you got a guy who flies at first base.
Well, that's the thing you run into. Absolutely.
And there's a base hit to center field. Bonifacio will easily go to third. Fowler up with a baseball. Ruggiano, who can run, is going to go to second. And it is a double for Justin Ruggiano. Now how big's that error?
Well, it's big time now. Now you got second and third, and you're dealing with, you know, Reyes, Lee, and Stanton, the 3 you don't want to see at the plate with men in scoring position. Last night they threw a 4 spot on the board in the first inning. Ball down and away, got the sweet part of it. This very good low ball hitter. Line drive hit into left center field. Dexter shading a little bit to the right field. You can see him there. And now he's got to make the chase to the baseball. And Bonifacio can really fly. By the time Dexter got to the ball, he was approaching third base.
Ruggiano hitting close to 400 now against lefties. Reyes, boy, that looked like a two-strike approach swing, George, not on the first offering.
Slapping the fastball, trying to just take it to right field. The corner's on the right side. Coleman's in about even with the bag. You're going to give up the run here to get the out. Try to shorten up an inning a little bit.
To first, and Colvin eyeballs Bonifacio and gets the out. So the Rockies get the first out without any movement on the bases, and that'll bring up Carlos Lee.
Yeah, just trying to take the ball to the right side. Not a very good swing by Jose Reyes. Good for that, because now you got the one out. Carlos Lee coming up, and then you got to deal with the big guy Stanton. Nice pitch by Drew Pomeranz.
El Caballo has been great since putting a Marlins uniform on in these situations. Men in scoring position, he's hitting .425, 17 for 40.
Wide stance, you know he's not going to strike out very often. The other day against Francis, he got him to chase a breaking ball down.
He's had a good series here at Coors Field. He's 5 for 12.
Good to see the velocity up 94, but yet missed with a couple of pitches.
There's so much film study in every sport. Baseball is no different. And I guarantee that Eduardo Perez, the hitting coach for Miami, this is slowly hit's going to get a run in to third, and now moving up is Ruggiano. So Carlos Lee gets the ground out. Just to finish that thought real quick on Eduardo Perez, when you look at the tape of Pomeranz and say, hey, first inning, guys, first time through, you're going to get a fastball.
Well, and you look overall at what he throws, 79% of the time fastballs. So that's the other side of it. You can eliminate 20% of those pitches coming to the plate. And not a bad move here. Johnny Murphy just coming off the disabled list also. He's the guy that's hitting behind Stanton. He'll go ahead and walk him.
And here's why. This is somewhat unconventional. In the first inning, you're not talking about a guy who's hitting eighth. You're talking about a guy who's hitting fifth in the lineup. And it's like, all right, we've seen enough. No mas.
Well, and you're trying to also eliminate problems for your pitcher on the mound, a young pitcher. We mentioned those numbers. Has struggled since the second half. Has dealt with soreness. Had to be skipped. Try to clean up an inning as quickly as they can for him.
Well, here's why they're walking Giancarlo Stanton. Thursday, this is against Adam Ottavino. Fastball, center cut, 445 feet before it landed. Friday, this one went a wee bit further. 474 feet, or the fifth longest home run in baseball this year. And then last night, this one is up on the concourse and took one hop and landed in the players' parking lot. So here's Donnie Murphy, and Murphy takes a strike on the inside corner, according to Mike Estabrook.
And you know that Jim Tracy is a numbers type guy as a manager. Murphy has hit just 160 versus left-handers this year.
Trying to bust him in. Got a plus fastball, and his ball naturally cuts. He's broken a lot of bats, a lot of right-handed bats this year. Has Pomeranz. 1-1. That's away 2-1.
Where he gets hurt a lot of times, leaving the ball up into the zone. Other than that, I mean, you can go back and look at start by start where he's been very, very good. And then again, you go back and look at some of the others. Prior to the break, we mentioned that the month of July, an earned run average fairly low. Pre-All-Star break, 306 earned run average. He's going 6+ innings. He did that against San Diego back in May. 4 hits, a run. 6 innings against San Diego again. 2 hits, a run.
3-1 now on Murphy. And he's walked him. That's not good. Now the bases are loaded for John Buck. And already you're getting an extended pitch count in the first inning. The Marlins have scored in the first inning in 3 straight ball games. And if you look at the first 2 innings, they have scored at least a run in the first 2 frames in all 4 ball games. And of course, last night they got off to the very fast 6-0 start through 2.
John Buck, a little bit of power too. You got to be aware of that. 8 home runs, 31 RBIs. He said to split time, and he's going to split more now with Brantley up. Brantley got a base hit the other night. Buck with a base hit.
And he's swinging the bat well in August. He's got a 300 average in August, and on that misfire, Hernandez goes to the mound. He did have the miscue, the missed call, if you will, on the Bonifacio ground ball. Vanover called him safe when Tyler Colton was still on the bag, but Rutledge's throw was not, a true throw, wasn't on line. And now Miami's taking advantage. Join in on the conversation with Toyota Talk. Text Toyota to 720-720. We'll do it later on in the ball game, and you can be entered to win a 1-year family membership to the Denver Zoo. And among many, many things, you can see the new Toyota Elephant Passage exhibit. Bo McLaughlin joined the conversation ultimately. Buck in this series has split time behind the plate with Rob Brantley. And that misses. 2-0. Bases full of Marlins. They have a run already. Here's the 2-0. Gives you an idea what kind of life he has, late life. And you're sitting dead red if you're Buck, and you still get a swing and miss on a 2-0 pitch.
Yeah, a little cut, a little sink to it at times. Mostly cut when it's on that inner half. But it was 93 with some movement.
2-1 with the bases loaded, and now it's 2-2. Mentioned this stat yesterday. John Buck struggled this year, and Miami collectively behind the plate, they have a whopping 188 batting average, which is by far the worst in baseball. We saw good career numbers though with the bases full. Here's the 2-2, and it's fouled off into the mezzanine section and then out of the mezzanine section. That happens all the time, George. You ever notice that? Balls hit it in there, and if you're sitting field level, you better turn around because there's a good chance it's going to come back down towards you.
Yeah, pretty good chance. It's going to hit one of these railings, hit a seat, hit something. Who'd it get? Yep, got her. She wasn't paying attention.
No harm, no foul, and I have a baseball. Nice souvenir. And now the count is full. Nowhere to pull. Put John Buck. That's Solano on deck. And the runners will be moving. Stanton's at second. Donnie Murphy at first. Murphy coming off a hamstring strain. That's why he was on the disabled list. The runner at third is Ruggiano. On the ground is short. So ultimately, Pomeranz gives up just 1 run. It's an unearned run. The Rockies down as they come to bat. Young Jr. will lead things off against Josh Johnson. You know how good EY has been going. 318 average overall. 4 home runs as he's shown some pop, particularly of late. Here's the rest of the Southwest batting order for Jim Tracy. Josh Rutledge will bat second. Dexter's in that 3-hole. Then Hernandez, Colvin, Pacheco, Charlie Blackmon just returned to the big leagues yesterday. Johnny Herrera will play second base and bat 8th. And then Pomeranz against Josh Johnson, 6'8" Josh Johnson. And since the All-Star break, George, he's been really good, and he's always been good against the Rockies.
Yeah, 22 innings, 22 and 2/3, 16 hits, a 199 earned run average since the All-Star break to go along with a 1-2 record, though. Lowest run support so far. And Josh is one of those guys, very deceptive. Will throw a big, heavy fastball at typically in that mid-90 range. And fastball velocity's been kind of up and down this year, not as consistent as it had been in the past. The one thing that I noticed he did or does at times, when he needs to go get 96, he can go get it. And a big part of the ball game. Big right-hander, scuffled at times this year. It's kind of a strange season, Drew. You look at April, he's 0-3, 534. Then he's 3-0 in May, but a 441. Then he goes 2-2 for the month of June with a 187. Then he's back to 488 and then now 199.
Oh, they ring him up at third. Jerry Lane, I don't know if he was influenced by John Buck, who was already ready to throw it down. We'll have to look again to see if EY swung. See if the wand broke the line. You know what? He probably did.
It's a pretty good call.
Yeah,
pretty good
call.
offering at the baseball.
Yep.
Johnson at one point, 2000 to 2010. And listen to this list, folks. Highest win percentage in Major League Baseball. I understand it's 2 years ago, but he was with number 1 at 33 and 12. Then you had Carpenter, Sabathia, Wainwright, Price as the top 5. I'd like to take that rotation somewhere with me. But then it's been a lot of injuries. It's been a lot of different things for Josh that he has been able to battle through, and here he is. 1 year left on that contract, Drew.
Yeah, next year. And they, you know, there was all kinds of things written that the Marlins were shopping Josh Johnson, and in talking to folks within the Marlins organization, that was not accurate information. A lot of people called about Josh Johnson. Miami has a history of unloading players. They were doing that this year, and they, as Rutledge goes down, they basically felt like, all right, if we'll listen. You always listen, and if somebody absolutely blows you away, then maybe you'll do something. But they weren't openly shopping Josh Johnson. 2 outs, nobody on. Dexter coming up. Marlins have Justin Ruggiano, who's got center field skills. He's in left. Bonifacio is going to play a lot of center field the rest of the way. He plays second base also. Stanton's in right. Murphy, Reyes, Solano, and Lee in the infield. John Buck's behind the plate. Johnson has only started 1 ball game here. It was back on May 9, 2009. He allowed just 1 run in 8 innings, 7 hits, struck out 5, didn't walk a batter. He's 2-0 with a 1.17 lifetime ERA against the Rockies. 5 ball games, 4 of those were starts. And he's averaged 10.5 strikeouts per 9 innings against Colorado. I remember thinking, George, about 2 years ago, and you were going over the wonderful stats he put up for that 2-year run, that he arguably was the best. If you took 1 starter, you had 1 game, you may pick Josh Johnson.
God, I think you would have. I think he was one of those guys that you would go after, and I think to say this is the guy. You know, you mentioned those trade talks, and Miami would listen, but it's going to have to be a blockbuster. You're going to have to give us some big guys in order to make us move this man. He loves it in Florida. They love him.
Good teammate. 3-1, and Dexter walks. A reminder, when the Rockies score 7 runs or more during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. A happy baby.
Anytime you got sugar and you're swallowing it and you go to the ball yard, it's a good day. She's got her eyes on something, doesn't she? cotton candy guy walking by?
It could be.
Something's going on.
Ramon Hernandez with 2 outs and Dexter at first. 1-0 Miami. And he lifts this ball down the right field line. Stanton's got a long run, and it will be a long run without an opportunity to reach out and make a catch. Dexter all the way around third will cut across the diamond. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Dexter diving back in. Jenny reported this during the pregame show. Opening day, 3, 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the lineup were Carlos Gonzalez, Troy Tulowitzki, Todd Helton, Michael Kadire. Well, 3 of those guys were on the disabled list, and one of those guys, unfortunately, is in Venezuela, Cargo, where his grandfather passed away. He's on the bereavement list. That opening day lineup, Marco Scutero led off. Marco, of course, is now at the Giants. Dexter batted second. Ramon Hernandez, who's at the plate, was batting 7th. Chris Nelson batted 8th that day, and Jeremy Guthrie was on the hill. We just got word that Guthrie, George, at Kauffman Stadium, has a no-hitter through 6 over the White Sox.
And that's followed by 2 shutouts that he has thrown.
This is slowly hit to short, and Reyes will get Hernandez at first. Other than the walk, a clean first inning for Josh Johnson. The Marlins won, the Rockies nothing. Going on. That's Andrew Brown. Eric Young Jr. evidently is not well, and he has had to leave the ball game. Scratched after 1 inning. You know, he had that check swing in the first inning. You wonder if he did something to a wrist or a side. Let's see if there's any sort of reaction, George.
I don't see it there. Maybe the reaction got a little bit later.
No, there's nothing there. He didn't act at all. He was disappointed. He thought he thought he had the check swing.
Huh. I'll try to find out for you.
So Andrew Brown's now in left field.
By the way, he had his 97th RBI and a home run last night in Salt Lake.
And he was on an early flight.
Yes, he was.
Second time Andrew Brown has been up this year. Donovan Solano will lead off. And the first pitch is in there, strike one. Again, here's the move. Michael Kadaya re-strained that oblique injury. Andrew Brown brought up earlier with the Rockies, hit 208, a couple of doubles. That's in there also, 0-2. I was talking to Tommy Hutt, George, your counterpart, along with Rich Walls on the Marlins television side. Tommy had a very good big league career. This is back up the middle of base hit. And Tommy said one time, because I asked him, I said, did you ever have an oblique strain? He said, I had one in the minor leagues. And he said, now in the minor leagues, you're battling naturally to try to get to the big leagues. You don't want to take any time off. And he said, so I just really cut down on my swing. And he said, it helped me become a better hitter in a strange way. And then I realized I couldn't reach for anything because I would be in agonizing pain and make it worse. So I had to find really in a shoebox a pitch that I could hit. But this is fouled off by Josh Johnson. You almost equated, George, to a hamstring calf injury, the back of the leg injuries, where it feels better. You think you're full go, and you don't truly know until you make an explosive movement. Michael told us a couple times he felt great.
Well, he went down rehab, felt great, and then all of a sudden snatched him again last night. I always thought an oblique pull was when I ate too fast.
You know, that's why you get. That's why you get. That's why you get them now.
Is that indigestion, Doug? Is that what that is? Yeah, over here. I never knew those things even existed when I played. I just knew your side hurt.
You sound like
go to the trainer's room. They gave you 2 more Tylenol and said, "Get busy, son. We'll let you know at the end of the year."
So you were skinny, but you're sounding like another one of our colleagues, John Kruk, who said, "I never pulled anything. You can't pull fat."
That's right. Everybody talks about all those 6-pack abs they got. I got one great big one. Doesn't bother me a bit. Right, Sammy? That bothers?
This is bunted in the air, and Pomerantz makes the catch. So Johnson twice bunted in the air, and finally the Rockies could make the grab. 1 out. Staying at first base is Solano, and let's go downstairs and talk about the young lady we were just talking about, Jenny Kapner. Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Drew. Hi, George. You know, you guys are talking about Michael Kadaya. I was in the clubhouse with him last night. He just seemed very emotional about it. He said right away he knew that it was back. That strain was back, and it was higher and it hurt more. It was more painful. I talked to Keith Duggar before the game. He said that Kadaya did get a good night's rest. Of course, he had some drugs last night before he went to bed. So, of course, today Kadaya said he was feeling good, but of course that might have been the drugs talking. You know, Michael said it's really a tough road with this kind of thing, an oblique injury, obviously. And Jim Tracy said he's not ready to rule in or rule out if Michael Kadaya is done for the season yet. He's going to stay home on this road trip, try and rehab, try and do some things. But as you guys were just mentioning, this is a very tricky, very sensitive subject with a guy that you signed to a very big contract and you're going to need for the future. So there's a lot of discussions that's going to happen in the next several weeks, and not just perhaps that 15-day disabled list.
Well, I think back to when Matt Kemp this year had the hamstring injury. He came back after a 2-week period of time, and then a day or 2 later he re-injured it, and he was out in the neighborhood of 6 weeks. So Michael was able to come back right at the 15-day mark the first time he strained it. That seems very unlikely this time.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, now you'd be safe. Rather be really safe than sorry.
There's
the same thing with Tula Whiskey.
Yeah, again, with the Rockies where they are at 45 and 73, you're not going to rush anybody back. Solano draws a second throw. Bonifacio with a 1-0 count at the plate. Bonifacio has always swung the bat well against the Rockies. 346 average. Actually has a 7-game hitting streak here at Coors Field. Marlins got an unearned run in the first. Pomerantz, though, George, throwing a lot of darts. This thing's looking like one of those 4-inning outings unless something turns quickly.
Hey, you know, today I wanted to mention, Drew, and I know you read it too, a wonderful, wonderful article written by Patrick Saunders on Ben Petrick, the former catcher with the Rockies, who's stricken with Parkinson's disease. And He'll be here in Denver. They failed to get this in the newspaper. Patrick passed this along to me and asked if I would do this. And after this pitch, I'm going to give you where you can go and when it is. That is Wednesday 10 to 2, and it is at Mile High Station. Ben will speak at about 1 p.m. after lunch. Now, it's free, but there is limited seating. So let me give you a telephone number. 303-830-1839 is where you could reach them if you would like to try and listen to Ben or come by and see Ben at 1 o'clock at Mile High Station on Wednesday.
I'll tell you what, I got to visit with Ben. It was a year and a half ago at spring training. He was down seeing Todd Helton, who was his minor league roommate, among other guys. And Ben is you talk about a wonderful guy and a tough guy. Runner going, fouled off.
Well, it's evident to everybody that has ever been around one of this type of situation. There's not any give up in Ben Petrie.
No.
Having a beautiful family now, 2 children.
And you know where I ran into him, George? I ran into him in the weight room at the team hotel in Scottsdale, and Ben looked like the great athlete he was. I mean, he was strong, and you know, he's had a number of, you know, a couple of operations, serious operations when you're talking about the brain. Swung on a miss, throw to second. This should be a strike him out, throw him out. Nope, safe. High throw from Hernandez. They had a good shot at getting Solano. So there'll be 2 outs, and Ruggiano will come up.
Got the ball down and in, and I think the hitter stepped out in front of Hernandez, which caused him to elevate his throw a little bit. The ball beat him there, but he was a high throw. Rutledge not able to apply the tag.
Anyhow, it'll be great to see Ben, and if you have some time, get on over.
Yeah, the Mile High Station.
To Mile High Station.
Yeah, he's going to speak at 1. It's from 10 to 2. Is when it actually is. Now, remember the phone number, 303-830-1839. There is limited seating for this, but it is free if you'd make a phone call. They would appreciate that. But a nice job by Patrick Saunders today in the Denver Post on the article about Ben.
And has become one of the leaders in Parkinson's research, along with Michael J. Fox. Many Rockies fans from way back remember Ben Petrie, because Petrie was a remarkable athlete. He could have played in the Pac-10 as a running back. He was recruited as a running back to play in the Pac-10 and decided to go the baseball route. Ruggiano fouls this off.
You know, Josh Rutledge, when he made this tag at second on Solano, I think he felt like he got him. We're going to watch at it again on a Mike Shaw Subaru Super Mo.
That's because he did.
He did get him. No wonder. And as a rookie, you're going to give the look. You may say a few things, but you're going to walk off. That's 2 miscues by the umpire crew today. The one at first on Bonifacio in the first inning on the high throw from Rutledge, and then now that tag applied by Rutledge at second. Ben over in the first. Dan Bellino in the second. Had a lot of missed calls in the eyes of Jim Tracy. Mike Estrada last night had a conversation with Jim. Estabrook, excuse me.
3-2. Another deep count for Pomeranz.
Well, and you start to look up, and one thing you're staring with a young pitcher you want to see, 45 pitches thrown so far, but only 23 strikes, 22 balls. You need to be in that 60% range. I think the National League average is 61.5% of the time strikes if you want to have continued success. Eventually it'll come back and get you.
Ball 4. Let me ask you this. You know, you see a lot of kicking of the rubber and walking around. Obviously, you know, Drew is a young pitcher and he's frustrated. How much do the other players defensively read the body language, George, of the guy on the hill?
A lot. I mean, you do. And particularly when you're falling behind 2-0, 3-1, you get back on your heels. You're seeing it. You want to come out, attack the strike zone with the stuff that you have. But not only that, the opposition sees that also.
Jose Reyes, 3rd walk. One of those walks intentional. And a delayed strike that has Reyes upset. Mike Gasterbrook took a moment to view it and then pumped his right arm. And it did catch the Ford strike zone.
And you know what? Umpires are okay with it if they just look at the, and I should say hitters are okay with it, and pitchers. When they miss one, if you just tap the chest or say, hey, late call, sorry, blew it. Then they go forward. They know you missed it.
2-strike count on Reyes. This was wild. Watch this triple last night. Reyes, he couldn't find a baseball initially.
Yeah, he thought it was a foul ball. Didn't see it at all. When he got to third base, he kind of explained that a little bit. When he got over here to third on the triple, put his hands up and he's like, yeah, I got my hip, but hey, I never saw it. Looked a little animated like Ozzy over at third base, didn't he?
Yeah. As explained to Joey Espada. Joey, I thought it fouled it off. No, you didn't. You hit it down the left field line. 2 ribbies.
Just hit a foul ball. Ozzy's like, yeah. Boy, he has a lot of fun, doesn't he?
That's how he keeps his sanity. Some people at times have questioned his sanity, but this is chopped to second. And you're going to get an out call right there.
He got hurt
interference.
Too. He got hurt going in. Look at him.
Ruggiano, he was trying to get out of the way. He ended up running right into Johnny Herrera. Watch Ruggiano, see if he comes out of the dugout.
What the heck? Did he miss Johnny coming right at him? He can slow down a little bit. He had his eyes closed when he's running.
Thought it was football for a moment. Colorado, take a look at the road ahead, powered by your Colorado Hyundai dealers. Step up to the plate, get more miles per gallon with the hottest car line in America, Hyundai. Tomorrow, the Rockies will be at Citi Field taking on the Mets. We're on the air at 4:30 with the pregame show here on Root Sports. Same deal Tuesday, same deal Wednesday, Thursday, no television. It'll be an afternoon game or morning game here in the Mountain Time Zone. Tyler Colvin leading off in the second inning. A reminder this season, save responsibly when you shop at your Colorado Hyundai dealers. Check it out at coloradohyundai.com. Colvin, Pacheco, Blackman to face Johnson in the second. 1-0 Miami.
The Dodgers are on top of Atlanta 1-0. Arizona 5-0 over Houston. San Francisco, San Diego later in the day.
Well, we just got word from the Rockies clubhouse, George, that it is a left intercostal or rib cage strain for Eric Young Jr.
That's the same thing as Blake?
It's pretty much the same deal as as what we're talking about with Michael Kadire. Now, we don't know the severity of it, but that's why EY is now out of the ball game. You talk about frustrating. EY enjoying the best run of his major league career. With the work he's done, you start looking ahead to 2013. You say maybe he's moved himself into a starting role. I mean, that's how good he's been. And now you don't know how long he's going to be out. Again, Eric Young Jr. after 1 inning and 1 at bat, removed from the game. And though he didn't have any reaction on the check swing, somewhere in that at bat, he strained his left side. 3 strikeouts for Johnson. Pacheco takes a strike.
Biggest advantage that Johnson has is he fires into the strike zone on a pretty regular basis. In this ball game, just 21 pitches but 14 strikes. It's a 2-to-1 ratio, what you're looking for. Pretty good stuff, and then he puts it into the zone. Kind of like Eovaldi last night. That's the best I'd seen him throw, including starts against the Rockies when he was in a Dodger uniform. Consistent velocity, over 100 pitches in the 7th inning. He's still set 95.
Eovaldi went 6 2/3, allowed just 1 run on 6 hits. The only hiccup, he walked 4. 3 punch outs. Rockies got after the bullpen. He got a couple off of Gaudin in the 8th, and in the 9th they got a couple off of Cishek. They just came up a run short, losing 6-5. Second straight ball game they've lost by that score. 1 and 2 on Pacheco, and it's on the ground to second. Solano.
Well, there was a lot of bodies that met at second base in this last inning. Johnny and Rigliano, you see him, they hit shoulder there, and then he's grabbing his hand from when he ran into Johnny. I mean, he's looking right at him. He's coming to feel the baseball, but he really put a forearm plant right in the middle of Johnny's bicep on that left arm, and he came back and he's feeling a little bit of tenderness there up in that shoulder area.
He's all right. He's in the on-deck circle. Charlie Blackmon hits a soft one hopper to Solano, and it's a 1-2-3 second inning for Josh Johnson. We move to the 3rd. The Marlins have the only run. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, your local consumer-owned electric cooperative delivering reliable power, energy-saving tools, and more. Visit TogetherWeSave.com. Rafael Betancourt earlier in the week, Thursday against the Marlins, got the save. Open for an opportunity today. Rockies trailing 1-0. Drew Pomerantz will face Carlos Lee, Giancarlo Stanton, and Donnie Murphy in the 3rd inning. Seventh inning with 2 outs. Jeremy Guthrie finally gave up a base hit in that ball game between the White Sox and Royals at Kauffman Stadium. He had a no-hitter into the 7th inning.
Now that followed up a couple of outings where he won 8 innings, no runs, 7 innings and no runs.
Well, whatever he couldn't find in Colorado, he has refound back in the American League with the Royals. That's his line so far today. Outside 2-1 on Lee. Two and two. We got an error at George at third.
Another one?
That spotter's got to make that play.
He's got to either dive, block it with his body, be a goalie, something.
Well, he knocked it down. It's a play he's got to make clean.
Well, it's easy too. See, here's the whole thing about coaching third and first. Don't make a move on the ball unless you're going to catch it. Pomeranz thought he had a punch out on the ball up and away at 91.
And he missed there. Another walk. That's his 4th of the ball game. Leadoff walk to Lee. Stanton will come up. Time now for today's fun fact, brought to you by All Copy Products. Stanton's home run on Friday night went 474 feet, the 4th longest in the game this year. The 3 that are longer, Cameron Maybin hit one 485 with the Padres. Nelson Cruz of the Rangers 484. Travis Hafner hit one 481. So the guy who has the longest home run this year in baseball got long appendages, but you'd think
Not
Hafner, you'd think Nelson
Yeah.
Cruz, sure they could be on that list, but
Stanton,
Cameron,
but you wouldn't think him.
Yeah, you wouldn't think Cameron Maybin. 1-1 on Stanton.
Maybe even Trumbo out in L.A. might be on that list. He had a lot of home runs, a lot of long home runs.
This one's fouled off. George, I'm reaching.
You got no shot. Just stop.
It took one hop and went in the McGregor family booth next to us. Yeah.
He's coming in there somewhere. Sammy's got it. Then he lost it. That's Drew's hand.
1-2 on Stanton, and Pomeranz strikes out Stanton. He gets him to chase above the hands. Second strikeout for Drew. That'll bring up Donnie Murphy.
Now, what success they've had, it's been above this level on Stanton. The other day, Will Harris ran the fastball up and in. This ball's elevated with velocity out over the plate, and it just blew right by him. That was really a tardy swing on that pitch.
That was both a late decision and a bad decision to swing at it. Murphy takes a ball. Donnie Murphy walked his first time, returning from the DL with a hamstring injury. Leaves it first, and that misses. Man, oh man. The pitch count now in the 3rd inning with 1 out, 62, and he's throwing more pitches out of the strike zone than in the strike zone.
Just the opposite of what you're looking for.
Well, you keep looking for, you always want young players to show gradual improvement, and unfortunately you really, to be honest, can't say that about Drew Pomeranz.
Right. I mean, you're looking for strike zone prominence, and I think the one thing a young player deals with, when you're in collegiate level, even in the lower minors and in Double-A, you threw some of those fastballs, they got swung at. Here the eye is much sharper.
3-0 in there, 3-1. You know, in Los Angeles, he had a decent 4 innings. He didn't give up a run, 3 hits, walked 3, struck out 7. There's another one headed our direction. But his last outing in San Francisco, 4 runs on 6 hits in 4 innings. St. Louis, 4 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits.
No, that one went back down. But they're firing at us.
3-2. On the ground to third. See if the Rockies can twist one. They will. Murphy hits into the 5-4-3. We'll go to the bottom of the third. 1-0 Miami. Marlins leading 1-0. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Jenny Cavnar from Coors Field on a Sunday. Herrera, Pomeranz, and then Andrew Brown in the lineup. Hear from our own Cowboy every week by visiting the Writing Cowboy section of the Root Sports website. Hall of Famer Tracy Ringlesby will bring you Rockies game notes, a lot of inside information. Check it out on rootsports.com/Rocky Mountain. You can get a preview of the Mets series in New York. Johnny bounces one slowly to short. Reyes is going to get Herrera by a step. Underrated throwing arm for Jose Reyes. Check our Chevys Dare to Compare. Chevy's full lineup of vehicles makes it the clear winner that the competition can't compare. Chevy made for Colorado. Worst record Saturday, Sunday games. 2012, the Rockies. Not even close, 633. And this is just mind-boggling to me. The last time the Rockies won back-to-back weekend games, i.e. a Saturday and Sunday, was last September. That's hard to believe. They've won only one Sunday game at Coors Field this year. It was a 3-2 win in early June against the Dodgers. Pomeranz hits one out of play near Carlos Lee. 2-strike count. Rockies have one base runner. Dexter Fowler walked with 2 outs in the first inning. Eric Young Jr. would be on deck, but he had to leave the game with a side strain.
Similar to what the ball club had to do last year in September with all the injuries. Josh Field got called up. Edgar Gomez was here for a little while. There was a lot of injuries on this team, and had to fill in. But then again, that's what your farm system's for. That's why you give these youngsters an opportunity to come up.
And Pomerantz gone. That's 4 strikeouts the first time through the lineup for Josh Johnson. That'll bring up Andrew Brown.
Coors Field, it's available year-round. That's right. Special events. Most of the areas at the ballpark can be reserved. So call the Rockies, 303 Rockies. For more information on this, the ballpark will host an awful lot of business meetings, weddings, cocktail receptions, and a whole lot more. So if you've got an event, call the Colorado Rockies.
Andrew Brown. This one down the right field line. Foul ground, playable for Carlos Lee. He was concerned about the stands right there, but he reached out and made the grab. 1-2-3 inning again for Johnson.
Denver Marlins up on the Rockies 1-0. Well, it's always fun to catch up with former Rockies. And while the Marlins are in town, we thought we'd do that with Joey Espada. He's the third base coach for the Marlins. What, you don't remember him being a Rocky? Well, he sure does.
Actually, it was a big trade at the time. It was for have some insurance for Uribe at short. So I felt like they really wanted me, and I went to Colorado Springs and played for a good manager. I think Chris Crone, I think it was his name, and a great baseball man, and it was fun. It was a good experience.
Well, the trade was back in 2001. Espada played 7 games down with the Sky Sox, so he never made it to the big league club. In fact, he never made it to the majors in his career, but those 7 games in Colorado Springs sure made an impression on him, Drew.
You know, Jenny, it's a good story, and one that maybe all fans don't realize. A lot of staffs at the major league level are comprised of guys that were career minor leaguers who really had to study the game and work in every aspect. Not to suggest guys that get to the big leagues don't have to. This is belted to deep center field, and Dexter's going to reach, but he's not going to be able to get it. John Buck has just hit his 9th home run, and it's 2-0. Buck continues to swing the bat well in August. Normally a difficult month for him in his career, but he's hitting over 300 this August.
Well, normally getting this time of the year when you catch it every day, hot 40, start to get a little tired. Obviously, he's been getting fired up. Boy, really nice job of hitting there. That head concentration, tracking the baseball into home plate, low fastball, golfed it to dead center.
Next hitter Solano to Rutledge. One out. Josh Johnson coming up. Let's check the AT&T trivia question. Earlier this week, the Marlins had gone 30 consecutive innings without scoring a run. They finally broke out a 9-2 victory against the Phils. What's the major league record for consecutive scoreless innings? We will provide you with an answer, we promise, at some point in time. Johnson takes ball 1. He tried to sacrifice Solano to second.
Johnson not
second. He bunted in the air and it was caught by Pomeranz.
Not an automatic out. 129 in his lifetime. He's hit 3 home runs in his career. He's got 25 RBIs in his career and 256 at bats. 33 hits in his career.
He ought to hit a home run every once in a while. He's big enough.
Left on left, a little more difficult task for him.
This guy play high school basketball, George?
Yes, he did. Played in between my oldest son and my not the youngest, but the youngest of the oldest, if that makes sense.
Well,
at Jake's High School. He played between Matt and Brian. Yeah. Very good player. Big, powerful guy. His brother was a tremendous baseball player, and then went to the University of Oklahoma and played 3 years there before hanging it up. Now he's a fireman.
Is he as big as Josh?
No, about 6'3", 215. Played right field. Had a really good arm.
2 gone. Emilio Bonifacio coming up. Slider for a strike.
Tell you the kind of guy Josh Johnson is. A couple of years ago at Oral Roberts University, every year for 10 years now, I've hosted their baseball banquet. We've had Matt Holliday there. We've had Goose Gossage there as honorary people. And in a snowstorm, Josh flew the entire day just to get there to be able to take care of this after being down in Florida for about 2 weeks. And really wanted to give back to the community. Did a good job of it, too.
Home run by Buck makes it 2-0. Middle of 4 at Coors Field. This is brought to you by the Ford Edge, class-defining style, revolutionary technology. Ford Edge, go further. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by King Soopers, more value for the way you live. This helicopter's been busy last few days, flying over Golden, Colorado.
I would say to
today.
call me. I love riding in helicopters. They're fun.
Well, next time they go up, perhaps they'll take you.
Yeah.
Josh Rutledge.
That hurt.
Yeah, a little roller to Solano. And you know what? I think that was a missed call, too. Larry Vanover called Rutledge safe. Rockies will take it. But I think the replay will show that he was out.
Well, you had all 4 guys jump in the air.
Now, here comes Ozzie. He's going to argue like Trace did in the first inning.
Yeah, he's out.
Ball and glove. He's out by a lot. Been a tough day for Larry Vanover at first. Got to give Rutledge a hit. He'll take it, and that breaks up the no-hitter.
Well, you better really hope if you're Larry Vanover, you don't have a What was it, a Galarraga deal like you had out in Detroit? There's one. Called him safe. Missed that one. Here's the tag at second. He's out. Not at the bag yet. And then now we dealt with the one today in this inning here on the soft roller. I'm glad it happened for him.
2-0 ball game. 3 hits for the Marlins. Dexter, the only other base runner for the Rockies. He walked with 2 outs in the first inning against Johnson. Johnson's not only been dominant in this ball game, but he's been efficient. He's only thrown 35 pitches. He should have 1 out in the 4th inning. Speaking of pitch counts, it'll be a 4-inning stint again for Pomeranz. Ottavino is firing with purpose down in the Rockies bullpen. Two balls and a strike. Dexter brought a .299 average into the ball game. 12 home runs, 41 driven in. Also 13 doubles, 11 triples. It's really odd as this is pulled foul. When you look at the extra base hit category, George, and you have a guy that's got almost as many triples as home runs and doubles, but he's in double figures. It's not like, okay, he's got 4 triples and 4 home runs. He's talking about a guy who's hit a dozen home runs.
And impacting the game in a lot of ways with the extra base hits. That's where his speed comes in on the double and triple.
Slugging percentage just under 500. Gone for a little bit without a home run, though. Been 94 at bats for Dex since he hit 1 out. This ball is going to drop in fair territory in left field. Dexter's going to end up at second, and the ball gets away for a moment. Coming all the way home is Rutledge, and it's a 2-1 ball game. Ruggiano had a problem in that left field corner. See that happen even with the home left fielders from time to time. So it's now a 2-1 ball game.
And for Dexter Fowler, his 7th extra base hit since the All-Star break, drives in a run. Fastball away, sliced it down the left field line for his 42nd RBI. And that was Rutledge, but as he got into that corner, he went to swipe the baseball and basically just missed it. Rutledge looking at this play here. You'll see him turn it up as he got to second base. Going to be able to score as the ball got away from him.
You know, watching him run, George, talking about all these injuries, he is clearly protecting that quad.
No, absolutely is.
Nobody out. Dexter at second base. A chance for the Rockies to get even with Ramon Hernandez at the plate. Inside 1-1. Dexter's been a model of consistency, something he has struggled with in years past. Struggled in the first half last year. Came on like gangbusters in the second half after going down to Colorado Springs. This year he started slowly, but he ended up hitting 300 in the first half, and so far in the second half he's hitting 296. Line foul.
Second time through the lineup, starting to get a little stronger swings on Josh Johnson. Louder, even foul balls are louder with solid contact. You see Ramon's numbers with runners in scoring position this year. talking to him. Scotty Garrett is. Bench got shortened up pretty good here. With EY out and Brown in. Dexter, big jump.
Yeah, he's going to have third stolen easily. 11th stolen base for Fowler. And now Hernandez. The task will change a little bit. Get the ball in play, and you're going to get an RBI and tie up the baseball game.
Josh Johnson not paying a bit of attention to Dexter Fowler, allowed the huge jump and the stolen base. In the past, this is where Josh Johnson has excelled in going and getting more velocity or a nastier slider. Not this time.
Stanton makes the catch. Dexter had come off the bag instead of tagging, and I don't know if he would have gone on that anyhow. All the momentum for Stanton was coming to the plate. One out. Tyler Colvin will take his turn. Here's the answer to our AT&T trivia question. The Marlins earlier in the week had gone 30 straight innings without scoring a run. What's the National League, excuse me, what's the Major League record for consecutive scoreless innings? 48 done twice, back in 1906 by the Philadelphia A's, and 68 before the Reds were the Big Red Machine. Colvin struck out swinging his first time.
Down and in slider, and that's what he started him out with here, that back foot slider, trying to get him to swing over the top of the baseball.
Good swing and a controlled approach, George, by Colvin.
Got one out, just trying to elevate the ball into the air, catch the ball hard, get it on the ground somewhere to the right side. You get another run out of this and tie the ball game. Strike starting to overswing. That's playing right into a pitcher's hand.
Three hits last night for Tyler.
The new Aurora Dugout Stores, it's now open. That's right. Located at the corner of Parker and Arapahoe Roads. Call 303-832-TEAM for more information about the brand new one opened up down in Aurora.
One and two on Colvin. Tried to spot the fastball away, missed. 2-2. Dexter doubled in a run. 42nd RBI. He's now at third after the stolen base.
You would think slider. Josh Johnson looks in. They're going to try to blow him up with a heater, though, in the inner half. And it was the slider.
Yeah, it's not going to get the job done. A little pop in the infield. Now they're 2 outs. Fowler's still standing at third, and it'll be left to Pacheco. Good spot for Jordan. He's been terrific with runners in scoring position. Rockies fans, Root Sports has launched a new interactive second screen experience. It's called Game Connect. We've been playing with it all week. You'll get live game stats, play-by-play, head-to-head stats. You can dig deeper into the matchups as well. And if you want, you can chat with other fans at Game Talk. It's called Game Connect, and you can reach it on rootsports.com/Rocky Mountain right now. Jordan drives one to deep left field. Going back, Ruggiano looking up, gone! 2-run home run, Jordan Pacheco. He's flirted with home runs this week. He finally got one over the wall. Number 2 on the season, and the Rockies lead it 3-2.
Yeah, look at fastball in and just took advantage. I mean, this was a great job by Jordan Pacheco again. RBI chances out for Jordan Pacheco, and he takes advantage of it. Heater in, above the belt, and elevated at 93. Well, I'll catch this one. Don't worry about it. I'm going to catch this one. Nah, you go ahead. You brought a glove, you can have it. 3-2 Rockies on Jordan's home run.
And he hit it against a guy that does not relinquish many home runs. One of the hardest guys to hit the ball out against this year in baseball among starting pitchers. Go figure, because Pacheco's last home run was May 17th, 279 at bats ago. Game against Arizona.
Boy, I like this. Look how tight those hands got to the body. That is some kind of strength there. That he was able to hit the ball out with his hands, those positioned that close to the body. 10 home runs in 151 innings now for Johnson.
No, it was a better looking
no,
swing
it wasn't
than
a chip.
that,
No, yeah, you didn't, Tom. No, you didn't chop any wood with that, pal.
Blackman hits one in the air to left, and the catch is made by Ruggiano. Very productive fourth inning for the Rockies. They crossed the plate 3 times, highlighted by Pacheco's second bomb of the year. 3-2 Colorado as we move to the 5th at Coors Field on a Sunday. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Hyundai's Summer Drive Sales Event now through September 3rd. By Comcast, advertise your business locally on the network's People Watch. We can help grow your business. Go to ComcastSpotlight.com for details. And by Ram Trucks, now get a great deal on a new Ram truck at the Ram Summer Clearance Event going on right now. Rockies taking a 3-2 lead against Josh Johnson and the Marlins. Top of the 5th inning. Pitching change. Adam Ottavino on for the 40th time. He's got a 4-1 record. And though it was a very uneven performance by Drew Pomerantz, he departs with the Rockies in the lead. A chance for Ottavino to get his 5th win.
What's the part about being in a piggyback role? You have a chance to win a lot of baseball games. His 40th appearance now, 4th among National League rookies. Hughes with Pittsburgh 48, Bach with 47, there's 43, and now Ottavino with 40.
A line on Pomerantz. He went 4 innings. He allowed 2 runs, 1 earned, just 3 hits, but he walked 4. One of the walks was intentional. He struck out 3, and he threw more pitches that were balls than strikes. But the Rockies are ahead, and that's the bottom line. Ruggiano, Reyes, and Lee, 2, 3, and 4 here in the 5th inning for Miami. 3-1. Looking to save energy and money? Find out how the little changes add up at TogetherWeSave.com, your local Touchstone Energy cooperative, delivering reliable power, energy-saving tools, and more. 3-2 on Ruggiano. Another great story of a guy, George, just looking for an opportunity. And he finally found one at 30 years of age here in Miami. He's responded, 10 home runs, a .326 average coming in, and that's a base hit up the middle. He's 2 for 2, single, double, and a walk.
Well, you know, you've watched the Addams Family. Uncle Fester, there he is. Stick your head out. He runs the slow-mo camera for us. And we're going to bring you some slow-mo moments, right? How about this today? Heath Bell doing a little work, obviously, here in Colorado, going down and shooting a few targets. Down in the bullpen early this morning, getting ready for deer season, elk season, who knows? Maybe a little turkey hunting. I like it.
Can we see the target, see if he came close?
Well, there's a wall down there. He hit something. You know, tell him what we're going to turn up. We had the squirrel the other night hunting for a little food on the field. Dragonfly going across home plate with Jeff Francis swinging the bat. And then, of course, who will ever forget Thumper getting thumped with the green jello and the water balloon.
Andrew Brown, look out, and the ball drops. Rutledge and Brown never communicated. Ruggiano's going to end up at third. High throw that's grabbed by Ottavino. Reyes to second. Rutledge and Brown evidently couldn't hear each other.
Anytime you go back on a ball as an infielder, you're waiting on your left fielder or outfielder to call you off the baseball if they see it. Rutledge is going until he hears something, and then the I got it part didn't work.
You know, Brown had it.
Yep, had it in his glove. Let's watch. You'll see their mouths move. Never did see Brown lips go together saying I got it. That doesn't mean he didn't yell it. But obviously Rutledge did not hear it. He missed the baseball. Then they collide. And because of that, the ball whips out of Brown's glove, and you've got a little bit of a mess here. Second and third now. And nobody out in the heart of their order with Lee and then Stanton.
It's going to be a tough error, you assume, on somebody. Lee with the cutbacker. Ottavino throws to Colvin, 1 out. Second time Lee has come up in an RBI situation. He got the run home the first time. And you know what? Rutledge is going to get his second error of the ball game for knocking the ball out of Brown's glove. I don't know if I've ever seen one of those before, but it's kind of hard to fault Brown because he caught it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fault Brown. I mean, obviously it's got to be an error on someone. Hustle error going out deep into that. Ninth error, second today. We're going to walk Stanton again with second, third. Second time in the ball game he's been intentionally walked.
Well, he took Ottavino deep earlier in this series, Thursday. And Jim Tracy's seen enough of Stanton.
Well, it worked out well when they intentionally walked him back in the first inning to limit some damage there. So here's he struck out the next time on a high fastball. Pomeranz just blew the ball right by him in the third. Here he is, second and third, 1 out. Yeah, I'll put you over there, and we're going to try to turn a double play, but you got to make a pitch on Murphy to get a double play ball, maybe even Buck after that. One of the struggles have been for Miami, runners in scoring position, particularly with the bases loaded. 236 on the year. There's that wipeout slider that Ottavino can show you, and he showed it there. 85 miles an hour. Some pitchers coming out of the bullpen have a great fastball that they can throw it by you. Others have a swing and miss breaking ball. Ottavino, obviously a good fastball in the mid-90s at times, but the sliders can be devastating to right-handed bats.
Here's the 1-2. Got him. Got him with the slider. And with 2 outs, John Buck will come up.
Well, a lot of times as a pitcher, you've got to pick up your teammates when errors do occur and get you in a situation you don't want to be in. And he came out and picked up big time here. You're going to watch this on your Super Mo camera too, just falling right out of the zone and out of the length of a swing of the bat. Did you notice that he had his eyes closed all the way through that swing?
John Buck homer to center field his last time up. Bases loaded at 2 outs.
It's tough to hit a slider even when it's nasty, but watch the eyes as they close to try to hit the baseball. It's hard to do, Doug. I don't know if you know that. Buck's had 4 opportunities this year, the bases loaded, even though the club hit 236. He's 2 for 12. Good time to be 2 for 5.
Missed again with that slider, and it's 2-0. Buck a couple of home runs at Coors Field in his last 6 here, hitting .350 at Coors Field of late. Got the Kevin Youkilis look going. And a late strike call again from Mike Estabrook. And Buck, who's got to work with him on the defensive side, kind of took a little bit of a walk, then asked where that pitch was.
So did Perez. Perez is up on the steps, leaning on the railing, asking where the pitch was and why you got to be so tardy calling it.
Two-one fastball at 95. Beat him 2-2.
Yeah, the only thing that bothers you a little bit about that error, it created and the walk, of course, take off 4 pitches. It's still 19 pitches in the inning for Ottavino. You'd like to see this thing end and clean up pretty quick.
Two on Buck, and now it's gone full 3-2. This happened with Buck in the first inning with the bases loaded. He reached a 3-2 count against Pomeranz before grounding out to short.
And that's where you got to be careful of calling the pitch to get the out, because on 2-2 a lot of times they say if it's good enough 2-2, good enough 3-2. He threw a slider well out of the strike zone, but you also got to trust the 95-mile-an-hour fastball to get out of this.
3-2, and it's on the ground to short.
Nice job, Ottavino. Man, way to pick your teammates up.
Error does not hurt. The Marlins lead the bases loaded. 3-2 Colorado, middle of 5. Stop for the Coors Light freeze can. There have been a few miscues. Larry Vanover didn't see the foot on the bag early in the game. Colvin stayed on the bag. Dan Bellino had this runner safe, and then this call for Rutledge.
That led to a run, too.
Yeah, he was called safe there, and he was clearly out. The umpires on occasion have a rough day also.
Well, they can't go 0 for 3.
It's brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Johnny Herrera, Adam Ottavino, and Andrew Brown. If you're just joining us, Michael Kadire placed on the disabled list. He restrained the oblique. And he said after the ball game last night, it's even more painful than the first time. So the Rockies placed him back on the disabled list. Andrew Brown was recalled. Now, Andrew was not in the original starting lineup, but after one at bat and 1 inning of play, Eric Young Jr. evidently strained his side. He had to be removed, so Brown's been in left field. Johnny Herrera was at the plate, was wincing on the bench after being run into by Ruggiano on the base paths earlier in the ball game. Johnny draws a leadoff walk against Johnny Herrera. That makes Adam Ottavino's assignment very easy. Second walk allowed by Johnson.
Sometimes as a pitcher you get really excited and you start to try to overthrow the ball, and then you keep the ball out of the zone. Trying to elevate a fastball to get him to pop it up, as Johnson did with Pomeranz. Johnson popped up one of his attempts to bunt the baseball. Behind in the count, 2-0.
Good bunt. Johnson fires to Solano. 1-4 on the sac bunt, and Andrew Brown will come up. RBI situation. Nice job, Adam Ottavino. Brown fouled out to Carlos Lee, his first at bat. And Josh Rutledge is going to come out of the ball game, George. DJ LeMahieu's in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, and all Jim Tracy can do is scratch his head. I mean, that's the hardest thing to go through. What they're going through right now.
This thing continues. May have Rafael Betancourt about 12 years ago as an infielder. He may be back playing in the middle of the diamond. This ball's driven to center field, and it's gloved there by Bonifacio. That's a guab, as you like to say, George.
Exactly what it was.
Goodwood, AV.
Got a ball in her half and just drove it. Bonifacio utilized that speed, started to come in on the ball and went back.
Does the phrase dropping like flies mean anything to you right now? DJ LeMahieu will go in. He'll play second. Herrera will flip to short. And the Rockies, after the game, are getting on a flight to New York, and they're going to have to assess who's able to go in the next couple of days. Is Eric Young Jr.'s injury a day-to-day thing, or is it, more significant than that? And Rutledge has been nursing that quadricep. Did he re-aggravate that? When we saw him score earlier in the game on the double by Dexter Fowler, he had it.
Was not
real,
an overdrive.
Yeah, he wasn't an overdrive. He had downshifted. I mean, he was really protective of that leg going around the bases. Strike called by Larry Vanover. He didn't go. Barrel didn't break the line of that first base line. 2-2.
Dodgers beat Atlanta 5-0. Chad Billingsley the winner.
If the Rockies do have to place another player on the DL, a guy that may get called up that you haven't heard from in a long time, you have to follow the Rockies closely. He made a splash in spring training a year and a half ago. Hernan Iribarren, who's playing well down in the Springs. Ground ball to first. Lee will flip to Johnson. And that's all for the Rockies, because Iribarren can play the outfield or the infield. 3-2 Colorado as we go to the sixth.
Nice job getting out of that last situation, but with everybody going down, Rutledge is the latest. Had to leave the ball game. DJ LeMahieu now comes on to play second base. Johnny Herrera will slide over to shortstop. Solano will lead it off against Adam Ottavino. Solano on the day, a base hit. He's grounded out to shortstop. Fastball at 94, strike one.
254 on the year, 10 RBIs, 1 for 2 mentioned in today's ball game. Ottavino goes back to that slider, which got him out of the last inning. Did a good job with that to get ahead 0-2.
This ball driven to center field. Dexter makes the catch.
Atomic City, New Mexico. It's raining good. Send some of it to Oklahoma and Texas. They need some there too. Where did EY go? EY hurt his side and had to leave the ball game. No, that hasn't happened, Mama Downs.
Comebacker. Two outs. Emilio Bonifacio will come up. He's 0 for 3 in his return to good health. He's been battling a thumb injury all year. In fact, he had surgery on his thumb and a pin placed in there. Originally happened on a head-first slide, then he re-injured it. Didn't have to have a second surgery.
Well, Chris, they want to know if they hit the truck up on top of the roof, do you win the Toyota? But if you're hitting it that far, you can buy a Toyota dealerships because you got a big contract.
You're right, exactly.
But no, you don't get a truck. Sorry. That is good to see Charlie back in the big leagues. Charlie has swung the bat well down at the AAA level, so it is good to see him back up here.
Another question we get from Daly about Tulowitzki. Troy will travel with the club again. This is time to New York and Chicago. He was with us out on the road trip last week. And if all goes well this week, the potential that he'll go on a rehab in the not too distant future. Strong inning for Ottavino. 1-2-3 in the 6th inning. Rockies leading 3-2 at Coors Field. Time for the Cooney Lexus look back, brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. John Buck hit a home run to make it 2-0. That was off Drew Pomeranz. But the Rockies would rally. They came up in the 4th inning without a hit after an infield hit by Rutledge. Dexter Fowler dropped a double into the left field corner. That would score Rutledge. And then Jordan Pacheco with his 2nd home run of the year, a 2-run shot to give the Rockies a 3-2 lead, which they now enjoy. It'll be Fowler, Ramon Hernandez, and Tyler Colvin. in the 6th inning. Dex with a couple of hits today, or excuse me, with one hit and a walk, 1 for 1. He's got the average over 300 again at 301.
And last time came hard in on Dexter, and he was able to flare it down the left field line for a double. Drove in a run, and then he stole third, and he obviously became a pretty big part of it. And handshakes with Jordan Pacheco.
2-2. And that's going to be another base hit for Dex.
Well, Dexter had 2 hits prior to the game against Johnson. One of the few Rockies that had even faced Dexter Fowler.
Time for today's CenturyLink high-speed pitch, fast speed, low monthly price. Visit CenturyLink.com. Johnson 95, Drew Pomerantz 94.
One still standing tall on the hill. The other exited early with a high pitch count. It's 74, the normal pitch count for a pitcher, but had kind of a. You look up, 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts in the game.
Hernandez
behind an awful lot of hitters.
Yeah, Hernandez takes ball 1. Rockies by a run.
Buck behind the plate this year has been 11 for 49 and throwing out would-be base stealers. Even though Johnson's a big guy, he's not particularly that slow to the plate.
Hernandez, he didn't think he swung. Mike Estabrook made the call. He didn't ask for help.
And they don't have to if they feel that way about it. But I've always felt like as you get a later part of the game, particularly a close game, if there's any doubt in your mind, ask.
Pitch out, nothing going. Double play ball.
Well, the other night, Drew and I spent the night broadcasting out of the Camarena Loft, so why don't you make sure it's located out in center field. It's a great option for your group. Individual tickets also available on sale select dates as well. And it was a good time up there the other night as we all went up and broadcast. And pretty good crowd showed up in about the 4th inning, didn't leave till the 8th inning.
Culver to strike out and a pop out to third. Johnson has allowed just 4 hits. The combination of Pomerantz and Ottavino have allowed just 4 hits. team in action naturally on a Sunday. All games underway. With amazingly the only game not going. It's a nationally televised game tonight. I'm shocked that the Red Sox and Yankees were the selection.
I am totally shocked that game is picked.
This is going to turn foul.
Why does that always happen?
But those two are
yeah, they seem a lot of Sunday night telecasts for those guys. Well, a little hook down the line. Got the head of the bat out early. Trying to make a few catches down there. Mom, go get it. She does. Come up with it. Come on. You got kids fighting for it. Get it. Give it to the kid.
There's a base hit through the left side for Colvin.
Nice job of hitting right there. Ball down and away from him. Just slapped at it. Didn't try to do too much with it. Now they got ice cream plus a baseball. What a day at the yard. That one's grumpy.
Here's Pacheco. And Jordan takes a strike. Right now, he gets the game ball after this affair. If it holds up, 2-run home run to give the Rockies a 3-2 lead.
Yeah. Well, you got that bottom lip. Look here, it's coming. It's coming. He got the bottom lip working.
You know what? We feel your pain.
Doug's looking for a baseball in the drawers. I can hear him opening and shutting. He's going to take them down to him.
You know what? Let's get a ball to Jenny. Oh, somebody. There we go.
Oh, they gave it to him. The people behind the ball gave it to him.
Oh, okay, good.
Now it's all good. Now you got your ball. Now my hand really hurts. Yeah, look at it.
That's a base hit for Jordan. Well, I'm glad that worked out.
You know what? Jordan Pacheco knew who Josh Johnson was before this game. I'm not sure Josh Johnson was aware of Jordan Pacheco because of limited exposure. But he knows who he is now. One in the seats and one on the right. Hey, oh, wait a minute. The girls came by.
Three singles in the inning. The double play wiped out the first single by Fowler. Charlie Blackmon up there with 2 on.
I don't know who the guy is in the crowd today, but he's the guy you wanted on your football coaching staff.
He's got a big voice. So
yes,
he's got a voice like you,
yes.
man. You can hear him a mile away. Got a 2-0 count to work with. Rockies trying to grind out a victory, split the series here in Denver with Miami. 2-1. Charlie's hit at every level, product of Georgia Tech. Tall, athletic, rangy young player.
Uh-oh.
You know what?
Yeah.
The afternoon's starting to look up. Got the baseball, the pretty girls around me, and now a call from the president. On the ground, and Carlos Lee will run to the bag. Rockies had 3 hits in the inning, no runs though. We'll go to the 7th inning. The Rockies leading 3-2. Wow. It's turned into a nice afternoon. That baby. Good deal. Nothing like a happy youngster on the way home. Justin Ruggiano against Adam Ottavino. Big swing and a miss. 3rd inning of work now for Ottavino. Rockies ahead 3-2. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Jenny Cavnar on a picture-perfect day at Coors Field. Generally, that is the case. And it is ideal weather-wise, just 81 degrees. Play all day, all night in this kind of weather. Except if you pull a muscle. And Josh Rutledge, who's been battling a quadriceps strain, is feeling a tightness in that left quad. That's why he was removed from the ball game. Eric Young Jr. removed after 1 inning with an intercostal strain. Michael Kadire placed again on the disabled list with a oblique strain. DJ LeMahieu didn't start. He's in there at second. Herrera was at second. He's moved to short. Andrew Brown didn't start. He's in left field. Rockies, because of the 4-man rotation and the utilization of the piggyback, and the fact that they're playing 20 games in 20 days, and they'll do it again in the month of September, have an extra man in the bullpen. Swung on and missed. Good slider, fans Ruggiano. And they have only 4 available on the bench. it's one of the reasons Jordan Pacheco is so valuable, not just because he's hitting well over 300 and he's hitting 360 something with runners in scoring position, but his ability to catch, which means Rosario's in play. A lot of managers don't want to go and utilize a backup catcher offensively in a game and just burn him, because if you get your catcher nicked, and that's the highest risk position obviously on the field, then who catches? The Rockies have 3 catchers, but again, they have a short bench. Now, LeMahieu's in, Nelson and Rosario are the only 2 guys left for Jim Tracy.
Well, because of injuries. And otherwise, you still have your 4-man bench and running. But you're right about Pacheco. I mean, that is a huge advantage for this ball club to have a guy that can play both corners of the infield. Bird to see go to left field. And you watch Matt Belisle starting to crank it up down in the bullpen.
This is lifted to center field. Dexter will have it. Reyes is now 0 for 4, and that'll bring up El Caballo, Carlos Lee. Time for the Excel Energy high efficiency inning. Last inning for Adam Ottavino. Solano a fly ball to center field. Josh Johnson an easy play for the pitcher, Ottavino, and then Emilio Bonifacio a ground ball to short. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. Strike 1 on Lee. Native of Panama.
Well, it's a high pressure deal too. I mean, this is a 1-run ball game. He's gone through this lineup a couple of times now in the middle of this lineup and been able to handle it quite well. And the big guy got a hanging slider to hit and missed it. Pretty excited with that swing.
Two-strike count on Lee.
Like the call. Freeze him with a fastball outside. Just get it out there.
He did. That was a beautiful pitch. Well located. Colvin flips to Ottavino. And the good work of Adam Ottavino continues today at Coors Field. Man, he's been outstanding. Careful getting in that dugout.
the bottom of the 7th. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Colorado, but right after the game, the Rockies going to hit the charter and head to New York City to face the Mets in a 4-game set. We'll be televising 3 of the 4 games for you there. And here's how the pitching rotation will set to match up. You'll see Jhoulys Chacín penciled in back to start on Tuesday. He'll go against Chris Young. Tomorrow, the Rockies will face All-Star R.A. Dickey. The knuckleballer on Wednesday, it'll be Jeff Francis, and then Tyler Chatwood will round out the rotation for the Rockies. What's interesting to note for the Mets, they're actually on a 6-man rotation right now, with R.A. Dickey staying on a 4-day rest rotation, and all the other pitchers kind of filling in around him, as opposed to the Rockies, who are on a 4-man rotation and now adding Chacín back in. It's just kind of interesting, George, when you look at the 2 teams and how there's just a wealth of pitchers, apparently, for the Mets to be able to do that and give their guys some extra rest, but the Rockies are still trying to figure things out on the front end.
Yeah, they are. And again, there's going to get Chacín's going to get that opportunity. Chatwood, another, obviously coming up, and the Mets have extended over because they're trying to decide whether to shut down Johan Santana or not, so they're just giving extra days now and doing what they're doing. So everybody a little bit different of trying to handle their pitching woes as they get down to the end of this season.
How about the work of Adam Ottavino?
Great work. 3 innings, a hit, a walk, 2 strikeouts, worked out of a bases loaded jam. It's a great job. 1-run ball game.
Two and 1 count on Herrera. Johnny's 0 for 1 and a walk. Held up. Johnny draws another walk. Nice job, Johnny Herrera. So Ottavino will be coming out of the game in all likelihood. Will hit here. Another opportunity to advance a runner. He did so nicely in the 5th inning. 3 walks allowed by Josh Johnson. Rockies with 6 hits, just 4 for the Marlins. Last night they tied a season high with 14 hits. No, Adams excited about going back home this week. He's from Brooklyn and makes his offseason home still in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I got an apartment there in Brooklyn, and he's a guy that asked him the other day if he pitched back home, either at Citi Field or Yankee Stadium. The answer was no, so he's very excited to go back and pitch in front of some family and friends. He'd be earmarked for Wednesday or Thursday as the piggyback guy. 1-1. Rockies have shown good patience against Johnson. Well, both these guys, I mean, both these games, 10 total hits, 5 runs scored. Your Coors Field. You know, the Rockies benefited, quite honestly, from a couple of calls. They fly ball to left field. Ottavino pitched out of it. And a low throw. Did he come off the bag? Nope, not according to the second base umpire, Dan Bellino. Jose Reyes kept the foot attached. And Jim Tracy, I'm looking at him down there. He's kind of eyeballing things. He's not come out. Donnie Murphy made the throw, and it was a low throw. Yeah, you'll be able to see it right here, whether he was out or safe. Did he stay under the bag? I mean, it's a nice pick either way you pick it, but this will give you a great look at it here. Watch the left foot. He's got it planted against the bag. He's out. Yep, good call. Five, 6, by the way, is how you score that. That was Reyes at the bag.
Andrew Brown lined out center field his last time up. Guy's got pop. Andrew Brown out of the St. Louis Cardinals organization. Guy at first base, Adam Ottavino, out of the Cardinals organization as well. Here's the 2-2, 3-2. George, how about in Houston? I mean,
Cleaned house,
they've let everybody go, and they have a new. Speaking of St. Louis, they have a new general manager,
Jeff
Luhnow, who was with the Cardinals for a long period of time. And Brad Mills got let go yesterday. Bobby Meacham, first base coach, their hitting coach, was let go.
Yeah, Mike Barnett, longtime hitting coach, Toronto, Kansas City, been with a few other teams as a hitting coach. Mills, he was said, I'm going to go watch my son play a little baseball. Bo Mills is a high draft pick, been traded. Going to go watch him throw. But they've also fired Bobby Heck, who was their scouting director for a long time, and brought in a guy by the name of Elias, who had worked, a young man that had worked for Jeff Luhnow, a statistical analysis guy that had worked for him in St. Louis, brought him over. A lot of people thought that Patini might get the opportunity to manage, but they brought up their AAA manager to take over for a while.
Fouled off. Just interesting that you would let Mills go here. Further, none of this is his fault. He doesn't have a big league roster to work with. That's why their record is the poorest in Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
the
Houston,
few good players they had, for the most part, they've traded.
39 and 82, but I think the one thing at home, 27 and 34, not too bad, and then 12-48 out on the road.
You would think if you're going to do it in the off season. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. On the ground to third, wicked hop, and it goes off of Murphy. No man's land in the left field corner. And stopping at third base is Ottavino. To second base is Andrew Brown. They're going to score it a double. And I don't think you can score it any other way. There's no way you can tell Donnie Murphy to come up with this thing. Watch that ball come up on him and hit his left shoulder.
Did everything he could to try to stay out in front of this baseball, and then tried to pin it up against the body. Just no chance for a play there at all for Murphy.
Now with one out, the infield comes in halfway. Reyes and Solano in the middle of the diamond with DJ LeMahieu at the plate. Second at bat for LeMahieu since coming in for Rutledge.
And I like the chances getting a run here. Good contact guy that swung the bat well.
To short, and Ottavino's not going to go home on Reyes. The reason they could play number 3 depth not all the way in is you had a pitcher at third base. So now there's 2 outs. They'll drop back. Dexter Fowler's got 2 knocks and a walk today against Josh Johnson. Will try to remain perfect 3-2 Colorado.
They're going to walk Dexter, and then they'll face the right-hander Hernandez. Jim Tracy set up some similar situations for his starters and relievers to have success, finish up innings. Hernandez in his career was 2 for 10 coming into the ball game, and he's 0 for 3 today, so 2 for 13 against Josh Johnson. Suites and party facilities provide a great atmosphere to entertain your VIP clients and celebrate a special event with a lot of friends and family. So call today, 303 Rockies. There is some space still left, but it is limited here for the rest of the season. The buy one, get one suite package. And Randy St. Clair out to have a little visit here with his big right-hander. Got a ball, he's got girls walking up to him, and now he's got a snow cone.
Perfect day.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful.
Game, recall the tears now. So Ramon Hernandez against Josh Johnson. Ground out, fly out, 6-4-3 double play.
Now the conversation, Randy St. Clair, what do you want to go with first pitch? And if you work ahead, stay away from where his power zones are and stay to the outer half of the plate, particularly if you're going to spin one.
And an easy play for Josh Johnson. So he gets Ramon Hernandez. The Rockies lead the bases loaded in the 7th. On to the 8th we go. We're still locked in at 3-2 Rockies. He's ahead 3-2. They've out hit the Marlins 7-4. Pomeranz started, went 4 innings, and then Adam Ottavino 3 terrific innings, 1 hit allowed in 3 innings, and he struck out 2. He continues his fine work. Didn't walk anybody. Actually, let me correct that. He did. He walked 1 man intentionally, and that man will lead off here in the 8th inning against Matt Belisle. It'll be Giancarlo Stanton, Donnie Murphy, and John Buck.
And again, 59 games for Matt to appear in. He's been obviously an anchor down there in the bullpen. 19 holes. Run average at 325. He'll take on Stanton to start things off here. The strong right-hander. and has been walked twice intentionally in this ball game and struck out once. He comes up here in the 8th in a 1-run ball game.
So that one official at bat, a strikeout in the 3rd inning. Just a smidgen under 6'8", Giancarlo Stanton, and Bilal goes right after him. Hits the zone with a fastball. Strike 1. Oh, and 2 on Stanton.
You have scouting reports on how to approach hitters, but when you come out of the bullpen in that situation, you kind of have your own idea what you want to do.
To second base, LeMahieu.
3 pitches, 1 out.
That's a big one. That's a breathe a whole lot easier one, because that guy, as you know, can tie it up very quickly. They're going to go to their bench. Murphy's been called back, and Greg Dobbs is going to pinch hit. Now, Dobbs played on Thursday. He's been battling an oblique strain. Has not played since then. Swung the bat well Thursday, which should not come as a surprise if you followed the Marlins at all this year. Dobbs has been really good. In fact, he had a 19-game road hitting streak that was snapped earlier this month. He's hitting .373 out on the road his last 23 games. Coming up after the ball game, more Toyota talk in the Toyota postgame show. Text Toyota to 720-720. And you'll also have an opportunity to win a 1-year family membership to the Denver Zoo. Two-strike count on Greg Dobbs. And it's looped to left. Coming on is Brown. 2 outs. Two gone in the 8th inning. John Buck will come up.
Follow the Rockies on your phone with MLB.com @Bat12 app featuring pitch tracking, highlights, and more.
Buck hit a home run to center field back in the 4th inning. At the time, it gave the Marlins a 2-0 lead.
Talk about pace and rhythm of the game. Bilal really controls it with that part and aspect of the game. Catch and throw, I'm coming at you. Here's strikes, hit it if you can.
High fly ball, right field, pretty deep. And Colvin, though, will get back and make the play. Shy of the warning track. Excuse me, Blackman. Shy of the warning track. Oh, 1-2-3, 8th inning for Matt Bilal. 3-2 Colorado. cold hard blast. The Rockies were trailing 2-1 when George Pacheco came up, pulled his hands in, ripped the fastball over the wall in left field. First home run since mid-May. It gave the Rockies a 3-2 lead, and that's where we stand right now. Our Coors Light cold hard blast. Bottom of the 8th inning, Colvin, Pacheco, Charlie Blackmon, and with 2 of the 3 being lefties. Ozzie Guillen's gone to his only lefty in the bullpen, hard-throwing Mike Dunn. Be the 40th appearance for Dunn. We saw him a couple of days ago pitch 1/3 of an inning. He was brought in to face Carlos Gonzalez. He struck him out on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball up and in. Rockies trying to do something they've done one time this year. That's
win on Sunday.
Win on Sunday at home. They've won 3 games at home. Excuse me, 3 games on Sunday this year. Greg Dobbs remains in the ball game. He's at third base. Well, if you stay on your game, if you're Rafael Betancourt, George, you can get the final 3 outs without having to face guys like Reyes, Lee, or Stanton.
All right, now you're down to the bottom of their lineup. You get Solano, pinch hitter, and Bonifacio. That's where you want to keep it, right there.
Tyler Colvin singled his last time up, 1 for 3. 4 hits in the last couple of ball games. Took a home run hack, and it's 1-1. Some people wondering, is Tyler Colvin a guy that's an everyday outfielder, a 550 at bat guy, or is he better suited to 350 to 400 at bats, be an extra outfielder, play some first base? Well, the Rockies are going to find out more than likely what Tyler's like day in and day out here in the final month and a half of the season, because with Kadire being down now for an indeterminate amount of time, Todd Helton's out for the year. He's going to play. He's done a very good job this year in a variety of roles.
Saw Todd earlier today in the locker room. Good to see him there on crutches as he was walking around greeting some guys before they headed out on the road. It's always good to see 17 in the locker room.
Out of play down the left field line. Crowd of 43,961 at Coors Field. Of course, there's a concert after with third day. Today is Faith Day at Coors Field, and the roadie's getting ready, huh? Another foul ball. Rockies Taco special to receive, if you want to receive text message alerts when the Rockies do score 7 in a ball game, text the keyword taco to 720-720 for the Rockies Taco special from Taco Bell. You know what's impressed me, George, all year long about Colvin, the guy who struggled so much last year, was pull happy, trying to duplicate the 20+ home runs he hit the year before. He has not only hung in well against lefties, he has a 274 average against lefties.
Well, going the other way is what's really helped him. Stop trying to get away from that. Wrigley Field can create that in your swing.
That's a high quality swing right there. Tomorrow, the Rockies will send Alex White to the hill, and he's going to face one of the top Cy Young candidates in the National League, R.A. Dickey, who's 15-4 with a 2.89 ERA. I'm looking forward to seeing Dickey throw because of that knuckleball, but he's not wild with it. That's a great at bat.
What a really good at bat.
Pacheco coming up as Ozzie looks on. Keane and the Marlins will head to Arizona. They'll take on the Diamondbacks tomorrow. Ricky Nolasco and Trevor Cahill. Pacheco takes a strike. Another 2-hit day for Jordan. He's hitting .379 against lefties. How do you like that? Josh Johnson threw 109 pitches in 7 innings, 3 runs, 7 hits, walked 4, 1 intentional, 4 punch-outs. He continues, George, to throw the ball well in the second half this year for the Marlins.
Yes, he does.
This one is going to drop. Another base hit for Jordan Pacheco. All he does is produce hit after hit. Average above .310 now for the rookie out of the University of New Mexico.
Yeah, .312 to be exact on that average now. Plus the 2-run home run, the difference in this ball game. Not trying to do too much with a nasty pitch from Dunn. Inside, just inside out the baseball. Trying to hit it the way it was presented to him. Now Charlie Blackmon will come up with first and second, nobody out. It'll be a bunt situation.
.312 average, as George told you, 23 points better than Todd Frazier, who's one of the leading candidates for Rookie of the Year. I know some people say, why isn't Pacheco getting mentioned? Frazier hits a lot of home runs. Frazier's on a club that has the second best record in the National League. Saw a little piece recently, George. I don't know where I read it, but this is not a slight of Bryce Harper, but the Rookie of the Year award, I hope everybody does their homework, because the Rookie of the Year award Wheel plays on should not be given to a guy that people believe down the road may be the best player, and a lot of folks believe that about Bryce Harper, understandably so, but the guy who had the best rookie year. Right now there are several guys that have had better rookie years than the young kid in
obviously
Washington.
Media capital, you know, they start getting all the publicity and all the moves. They get the votes that way. So, I mean, you know, it's kind of one of those tough things you deal with an awful lot in situations like this.
And Blackmon a little too fine with that bunt. 2-strike count. He's going to stare down at Richie Dower after Richie stares the dugout. Gets a sign from Jim Tracy. Richie's waiting to give his signs till the runners on base look at him. Blackmon runs well. Tough guy to double. In the air to Stanton. Battling the sun. 1 out.
Charlie going to be disappointed. Didn't get the job done.
Stick around after the Rockies game this afternoon for Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy. We do it every week. good program. And you can also look for the keyword during the program and text it to 720-720. Might win yourself some prizes. That's Rockies Weekly with Jim Tracy today after the game right here on Root Sports. Johnny Herrera, a couple of walks, also a ground ball to short. Rockies up 3-2. Johnny takes a strike. Thought about pushing a bunt. Chris Nelson's come out in the on-deck circle to hit for Belisle. This is a fister that lands in no man's land. Nobody covering first. 4 people converge on the baseball. It's an infield hit that went about 80 feet. Bases are loaded for the pinch hitter, Nelson. As soon as that thing left the bat, he said, that's going to be really difficult to produce an out with.
Well, and it's a good read by the base runners, because when a little pop fly this high, you better freeze up a little bit more. Unfortunately, Pacheco had froze up because he had a good read on it. You watch this ball drop. Look at Pacheco. He could see nobody's going to get to it, so he's a little quicker getting there. And you Coleman over to third base, second and third. Now you got bases loaded, and you got Nelly coming to the plate.
And Ozzie wants a right-hander, so Dunn will depart. 1 out, and the base is full of Rockies here at the bottom of the 8th inning. The Rockies 3 and the Marlins 2 as Ozzie takes the baseball from Mike Dunn. Back to Coors Field right after this. Get that lead. Bases are loaded. Colvin walked. He's at third. Jordan Pacheco, who's at third. Now you can't hang out there once the game resumes. He's got to move back to second, but he had a base hit. And Johnny Herrera is at first with an infield hit. Ryan Webb will take over, the former Padre.
46 in the third innings so far this year, 45 games. Looking to get a double play ball here. Doesn't give up many home runs, just 2 of those 46 in the third. A year ago, through 53 games for the Marlins. 50 and 2/3, 2 and 4, 320. The year before, San Diego with 54 games. The year before that, San Diego.
Chris Nelson, the pitch hitter. Nelson with the bases loaded and 1 out. 4.55 average and 11 at bats with the bases loaded.
Webb started the year out, struggled mightily. He
was 1-1 with a 182, sent back down to New Orleans on July 17th, recalled 12 days later. Since being recalled, 2-0, 159 earned run average. Well, things got turned around when he went there.
It is a drop ball by Reyes. He's going to get it out there. The throw to the plate. Out at the plate. Colvin may have thought he was underneath the tag. I know Jim Tracy felt like he was underneath the tag. 6-5-2 is the double play that will end the inning. Let's watch again before we go to commercial break to see if Colvin's underneath the slide. He was. Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. And by StubHub. Hey, fans, want to be here in person the next time your Rockies take the field? Just head to StubHub and choose your seats today. Gorgeous day in the Rocky Mountains. And in Lodo, the Rockies have a 3-2 lead on the Marlins, looking for 3 more outs. And we're looking for a preview of what's to come after the ball game. We trusted Joel Klatt will provide us with that. Joel?
That's right. Thank you, Drew. Hey, how about feeling the bite this afternoon? The Rockies facing the injury bug right now. We will update you on all the injuries surrounding the Colorado Rockies during the postgame. Plus, making it count, Jordan Pacheco, 3 hits on the day, including that big home run, gave the Rockies the lead. I'd say Jordan Pacheco's having a better day than the umpires, wouldn't you, Drew?
Oh, how about George? Oh, my gosh, yes. Come on. How many they've missed so far today? Look like me in math class. They're bad.
Yeah, it's been a rough afternoon, and they've been equally distributed. Rafael Betancourt will be looking for his 23rd save. Got more work, fortunately, George, in the department that he's paid to work, and that is closing out victories.
Yeah, that makes it a whole lot better. You're absolutely right. When he comes into a game, most of the time you're going to shake hands at the end of it. 23, looking for number 23 out of 28 opportunities. Drew and I mentioned it's been a while because of that long last inning. They're going to go to their bench. Peterson will lead off and pinch hit for Solano. Peterson with a couple of hits last night, 3 hits to be exact. Try to work something here. He's got speed if he gets on base.
Austin Kearns will hit next. It's a 1-run game. 8-9-1 in the batting order. First pitch in there for a strike. Pretty typical of Rafael Betancourt. A run in the first, an unearned run for the Marlins against Drew Pomerantz. And then in the 4th inning, John Buck hit a home run against Pomerantz. They have 1 hit since that home run by Buck in the 4th. And that was the base hit by Ruggiano. The only other base runner, Stanton, was intentionally walked in the 5th inning. 11 straight retired by the combination of Adam Ottavino and Matt Belisle. Here's the 1-1, and it's pulled through the hole, a base hit. Now the tying runs aboard, And a guy, as George mentioned, who runs well, Brian Peterson. He's led off in every game in this series. And notoriously pretty slow to the plate is Betancourt. Peterson is 5 of 6 swiping bases.
Kearns is a pinch hitter. 24 times, 8 hits, 1 home run, and 5 RBIs. A very good fastball hitter. No question about that part. Kearns 2 for 5 with a home run against Betancourt. So they're trying to play the percentages in his favor. I guess the closer of the Rockies.
Chris Nelson's in the ball game, or stays in the ball game, I should say, at third base. Kearns has pop, but he's also a candidate if he gets one on the ground to
pretty good double play.
Produce 2 with. Fouled off, out of play. Rockies in the last 4 innings left 8 on base. You hope that doesn't come back to haunt them. They left 11 on last night, came up a run short, lost 6-5. Two and 1. Two-one, double play ball. There's 1. There's 2.
Taylor made right to Johnny Herrera. The easy flip over to LeMahieu. They didn't get into him. Allowed a lot of time with Kearns running up the first baseline. So now you got Bonifacio, a guy typically not with a lot of power, go attack it in a 1-run game and get out of this thing with a W.
Bonifacio 0 for 4. First game back. Been nursing the thumb injury. 2 outs, nobody on. Nelson shortens up to guard against the bunt at third. Even with the bag at first is Colvin. Bonifacio takes outside, ball 1. One and 1. A ball and 2 strikes on Bonifacio. Crowd standing, and it's a great crowd, more than 43,000. Here's the 1-2. 2-2. Ottavino stands to get the victory. It will be his 5th win against just 1 loss. Josh Johnson's on the wrong end. 2-2 on Emilio Bonifacio. Ground ball toward the middle of the diamond. With topspin, it gets through. And now you have to deal with Bonifacio's speed. Justin Ruggiano will come up. 2 for 3 and a walk today, a single and a double. Bonifacio, 30 stolen bases. He's been caught just 3 times. All of that in 61 ball games coming in. Big swing and a miss from Ruggiano, who has 10 home runs. 10 home runs and only 181 at bats. Pretty impressive.
That Ozzie watching in his dugout telling Bonifacio, what are you waiting on? Go. And I've seen him 4 times now wave his hands at Bonifacio.
Hernandez glancing in the dugout. You have an 0-1 count. Will they pitch out here? Got a veteran pitcher out there, 37-year-old Rafael Betancourt. Whether or not he slide steps sometimes comes from the dugout also. No movement, and this ball's hit in the air to center field, shallow center. Dexter was playing deep. He comes on and makes the catch, and that's the ball game. So the Rockies prevail 3-2. They come from 2 runs down to get the victory. A rare Sunday victory, just their 2nd at Coors Field all year, just their 4th on the season. The Rockies win it 3-2. Adam Ottavino gets his 5th win, and the save goes to Rafael Betancourt, his 23rd. Josh Johnson takes the loss. He is now 7-10, and the Rockies complete a very nice week at home. 5-2 homestand for Colorado. Today's delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. Jordan Pacheco with the Rockies trailing 2-1. Hit one out for the 2nd time this year. And the Rockies find pitching from Adam Ottavino, Matt Belisle, and Rafael Betancourt made it stand up. Visit JimmyJohns.com to find a location near you. Again, the final score. The Rockies 3, the Marlins 2. Stick around. The Twitter postgame show is next.